Welcome you to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2018. You can clap.
Now please give a warm welcome to our salutatorians, Athira Vinod and Albert Wilcox. They'll be presenting their speech entitled The Stories We Create.
Good evening. I'd like to start by welcoming the students, parents, and staff who've gathered here for this graduation ceremony. Today isn't simply a celebration of the sea of students in caps and gowns in front of me. Rather, we celebrate each of you sitting in the audience, because without you, today would not have been possible. Now, before we begin, I'd like to ask you all a question. Did you hear about the university that they're building in space? Because I heard that it's going to be a pretty great place to get a higher education. You know, as we get ready to graduate, I'm sure that higher education, and all aspects of the future for that matter, feel very important. But let's not rush ahead. Rather than discussing the uncertainty of what lies ahead of us, or the determination we'll all need, or the success we hope you'll attain, let's look back and discuss the stories that we've made on our way here.
Stories were our first source of entertainment, our link to education. When our parents tugged us in with bedtime stories, and we sat through those long-gone days of story time at school, we were enthralled by the possibilities that they suggested. We dreamt that maybe one day we could become the heroes of those stories. And eventually, without even knowing it, we have learned to weave our own tales. Let's begin this story where our educational journey found its root in elementary school.
So began a series of years that are now just a vague haze of scented markers, Lunchables kits, and those treasured collections of fancy pencil toppers. Cheap watercolor sets and marathon sessions of the magic school bus during rainy day recess became an accepted way of life as we finally settled into our new roles as students. After the tears and sniffles of those dreaded first days of school, the teachers quickly exceeded their roles as simply educators and became instead our parents away from home. Shout out to Miss Gebhardt, who's sitting somewhere here in the audience today. I still remember the heartwarming memories that I enjoyed in your second grade class. It was truly our time in elementary school that laid the foundational knowledge that prepared us for the rest of our educational pathways.
And then came some of the most awkward years of our lives, middle school. As picture books became chapter books, our lives quickly began to gain detail and meaning. It was during those years that we first began to explore our passions and set off on our journey to adulthood. Some friendships lasted, while others drifted apart to make room for new ones. The people and places around us continued to change, and unbeknownst to us, we were changing as well. Despite the countless hours we spent playing Minecraft, posting cringily captioned photos on Instagram, and in true 2013 fashion, doing the Harlem Shake, those were the years in which we grew up. By the time we walked the stage at 8th grade promotion, we had left the exposition behind and were ready to begin the true narrative of our lives.
And now, here we are, standing at the end of the most recent chapter of our lives. We're like it's yesterday, the day we all walked through that gate, each one of us complete strangers to one another, bound by nothing but our identical Blue Crew t-shirts. But since then, the Oakmont family has only grown stronger together, as teachers and staff members alike welcomed us onto this campus with open arms. Now, after 4 years, we can confidently say that we have lived up to our alma mater and can finally recite it without having to hesitantly raise up our right hand in confusion, as I'm sure we all did at our very first rally. Now, the sight of freshmen striding down the hallways with their hair dripping pool water serves as a startling reminder that once upon a time, we were those very students walking to our next class after spending the morning in the dreaded swimming unit of PE. We were those very students holding back giggles as we flipped through those appalling pages in the health textbook.
The campus of Oakmont High School is like that. With every step we take along its hallways, we regain another memory of challenges undertaken as well as successes attained within these very grounds. And now, we have at last reached our final moments with Oakmont, and it's time to say goodbye. Goodbyes can be difficult. They mark the end of a chapter we know and have come to cherish. But I urge you not to dwell on goodbyes just yet. Rather, let's take this moment to reflect on our own stories leading up to today.
Up to this point in time, our stories have been very different. We've come from different homes, some from different states, and a few from different countries. We've had different experiences, different struggles, and we've taken different paths. However, despite the ocean of differences that seem to lie in between them, our stories do have one thing in common. They led us all here.
And indeed, this graduation ceremony is most likely the final event that all of our stories will share. Look around at your fellow Vikings. This is the last time you will see many of the faces that have grown so familiar over the past 4 years here at Oakmont. And for that reason, I urge you to thank those who have helped you. Apologize to those you've wronged. Appreciate those who've been there for you. But most of all, love one another. After all, no story can truly be complete without its very own long list of acknowledgments.
I know we would all love to believe that this, right here, is our happily ever after. But the truth is, happily ever afters don't exist. And that is the beauty of our individual stories. There will be climaxes like the one we've all gathered here for today. But there will also be twists and turns that catch you off guard, and sometimes you may even think that your story can't possibly have a good ending. But that's when it's up to you, as the author of your own work, to pick up that pencil and change the path of your tale. And until then, I look forward to seeing where each of your stories leads you. Congratulations, class of 2018.
Now please welcome our chamber choir performing A Million Dreams.